Okay, we're now on part two of modes. I'm going to probably jump back and forth and we're going to listen to the piano a little bit while I do this. But let's talk about how a composer or a listener may want to listen to do these scales in case your teacher's having you do some ear training to try to find these, okay? Well, first of all, major scale, we know major scales, there's nothing to change on that. The Dorian, we know that we had two flats, but where are those flats? Well, think about it. It's going to be, so D, E, F sharp, but now it's F natural. So this is a lowered third, okay? And then also you go, it's going to be the C sharp on top. It's going to be a lowered seventh. If you think about this, that's a whole lot like a minor scale, okay? So, but the only difference is on a minor, we lower the 3, the 6, the 7. Here we're not lowering the 6. So if you want something to sound minor, very close to minor, but you keep that 6 raised, that's going to be your Dorian scale. Phrygian is a little bit more, okay? So think about it. E, F sharp, that's the second note. G sharp, that's the third note, okay? A, B, C sharp, D sharp, that's your 6 and the 7. Lowered 6, lowered 7. That's basically a minor scale, but we also have the lowered 2. So Dorian is going to have a minor feel to it. Phrygian's also going to have a minor feel to it because that lowered third is what really makes it that minor sound, but it's a little extra because of that lowered 2. It's also, this and the Locrian are the only ones that start with a half step. Every other scale starts with a whole step. This one starts with a half step. Oh, I didn't play one for you. Let me go ahead and play a Phrygian scale for you so you can hear what it sounds like. So on this one, starts with a half step. Sorry. It has a very minor feel to it, okay? I didn't play for you the Dorian, so let me go ahead and play the Dorian for you. Just think minor, but with a raised sixth. So it starts to sound harmonic, or it starts to sound melodic minor a little bit, but then that seventh doesn't go up with it. Listen again. So that would be a really neat scale if you wanted to do some major minor play back and forth, if you want the listener to keep wondering whether this is a major or a minor piece, because that's 6. Okay? Lydian, but you can actually do that better with Mixolydian, which I'll show you in a minute. Lydian, you're raising a note. Which one is that? Well, if you think about it, F, G, A, B flat, but now we make it B natural. So we actually are going to raise the 4th. What that does is it gives it kind of a whole tone scale feel to it. Now it's not, still has half steps in it, okay? But because there's always a half step in those first 4 notes that you hear in most scales, this one doesn't. Its first 4 notes, or first 3 intervals, are all whole steps, so it gives you a bit of a whole tone feel to it. So let's listen to it, Lydian. So you can hear right there, you've got that tritone feel, and it sounds very whole tone. Now there's a half step that comes right next to it, and you do get your perfect 5th. So it's not Locrian, but it's got that tritone in it. Let me play it all the way through. And again, because you don't have the lowered third, it has a very major feel to it at the beginning. So this one is related a little closer to the major scale. Mixolydian is kind of cool because it's got the one lower note. Well, where's the sharp in the G scale? It's the 7th, so we lower it. So this is just a lowered 7th. So this would be a really fun scale if you wanted to do a major minor tonality battle. Okay, so it'll sound major all the way through, and then it'll sound minor at the very end. There's the minor feel. Coming down, it sounds minor, but now major. So again, by just lowering the 7th, you're going to see a Mixolydian scale. Aeolian, we've talked about that before, that's the minor. That's -3, -6, and -7. That's what we talked about that in minor scales. Now the B scale. Think about it. B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. That's a lot. Okay, so that one we don't use a whole lot because it's very different from what we listen to. But you're really listening for is the half steps that you have. You're going to have a half step between the 4 and the 5. You're going to have step between the 1 and the 2. Okay, which are a little bit awkward, but those are how you find them. So if you're listening for them, I'll just play it for you. Here's the B Locrian. Again, starting with half step. If somebody plays a scale and it starts with a half step, you know it's either going to be Locrian or it's going to be Phrygian. Okay, so play around with them. Just play with the white note version. But if you're looking for them, where you're going to see them in music, you're not going to see it in tonal harmony a lot. If you look earlier, like 16th century harmony, you're going to see these. If you look at 20th century harmony, you're going to see these. And what you're doing is you're looking for a composer that has a home. You have a home note to it. And it usually won't be in the key signature. You're going to have to look at the accidentals and figure it out and just say, wow, that really feels like a G scale, you know, but it has 3 flats in it. Okay, so it's a G scale with 3 flats. What would that be? Well, a G major is 1 sharp. If it has 3 flats in it, well, that means you added 4 flats. It's probably Phrygian. Now, you got to make sure it's the right ones though, because when it's all said and done, the scale will still go in the order where if it has 1 flat, it has to be B. 2 flats, B, E, B, E, A, B, E, A, D. If it has 1 sharp, it has to be F. 2 sharps, F, C. 3 sharps, F, C, G. It still goes in that order. So if you're looking at a scale going, wow, that has 2 flats in that. That's a G major scale, but it has 2 flats in it, and the flat is A and C. Well, that doesn't go in the order, so it's none of these. It's a synthetic scale, or it's something else is going on. It's not a mode, though, okay? So just know that when I say add sharps and flats and all that, they still work with the order of sharps and flats as we learned with major or minor. If not, then you have something else happening that's not a mode, all right? So again, a lot to learn. It's really cool. This will be really helpful in your impressionism and early 20th century music. Jazz and all that is a really fun thing to learn. I hope that you learned a lot of stuff about our 2-part series on modes. It might only be 1 question on the exam, but it's a really cool thing to know anyway. So, hope you enjoy your modes.